The film begins with Michelle, who is super upset. She just had a big fight with her boyfriend. So in a rage, she tosses her engagement ring and peels out of town, heading towards New Orleans. She is driving fast, still fuming. When her boyfriend calls, she ignores it. He leaves a voicemail. She is so annoyed. She flips on the radio to drown it out. That's when the news hits. A massive power outage has blacked out the whole city. Her phone rings again. She glances down and bam, a truck slams into her car. Crash. Everything goes black. She passes out. Next thing she knows, she wakes up chained to the wall in a concrete room. Her legs mashed up, bleeding, and she's locked in what looks like a bunker. She tries to yank the chain off, no luck. She spots her stuff scattered on the floor, uses a crutch to drag her phone over. No signal, of course. Then she hears footsteps. In walks this big intense guy named Howard. He brought food. She is like, let me out. He flat out refuses. Says she can't leave. It is not safe. He hands her crutches anyway so she can get around. She threatens him. My boyfriend will report me missing. The cops will find me. Howard just smirks. No one is looking. There is no one left up there. He leaves but slips her a key. She unlocks the chain instantly, tries the door, locked from outside. Desperate, she sharpens the crutch strip into a weapon using the key, waits by the door to ambush him, but he doesn't come back. Hours pass, she is exhausted, so she improvises, lights a fire in her shirt, tosses it into the air vent. Fire alarm blare. Howard bursts in. She swings, but he overpowers her, sedates her with a shot. She wakes up again. Howard is there with food. He says, you should thank me. I saved your life. Turns out the fire almost killed her. He put it out. She is still begging to leave. He explains the world ended. Some kind of attack. Toxic air, radiation, everyone's dead. The bunker is the only safe spot. They gotta stay underground for years. Michelle thinks he is lying, full on crazy. But then noises from above, sounds like vehicle. Howard rushed out, locks her in. Later, more sounds like a car passing. Doors unlocked this time. She sneaks out. Find stockpiles of food, supplies, meat. Amid another guy living there. He begs him to escape with her. He says no. Radiation. Howard shows up. Claims the noise was just Amid dropping stuff. Howard gives her the full tour. The bunker's like a home. Games, books, tons of food, only one bathroom in his room. When she showers, he won't let her lock the door, doesn't trust her. She hangs a curtain for privacy. Power flickers. She thinks it is a car outside. Howard insists no one is alive. No radio signals prove it. He mentions a girl named Megan, his daughter. Doesn't say much. Michelle gets suspicious, especially after seeing blood on a truck outside port. Through a pothole, dead bodies everywhere, poisoned by the air. Howard says. Emmett knew Howard from before, helped build the bunker. He saw a bright flash in the sky, panicked, ran down here, cut his arm bad. Tensions rise. At dinner, Emmett tries small talk. Howard snaps. Michelle flirts with Emmett to make Howard jealous. Howard flips, slams her against the wall. In the chaos, he steals his keys. Another vehicle sound distracts Howard. She smashes a bottle over his head, runs for the exit, gets through the first airlock, but the outer door jams. A burned woman outside begs to get in. Michelle sees her face melted from chemicals, realizes Howard might be telling the truth, gives up, goes back inside. Howard confesses he caused the crash. He was racing to the bunker during the attack. The light swiped her car by accident. He gives her Megan's old clothes. They talk more. He shows a photo of his daughter Megan. Turns out Megan was his kid. His wife took her to Chicago. They start getting along, cooking, playing games, sharing stories. Michelle doodles fashion designs on magazines. She used to be a designer. Suddenly the bunker shakes, helicopters overhead. Howard says they are not American, maybe enemies searching survivors. Air filtration fails, vents too small for the guide, so Michelle crawls in. Restart the system following Howard's instructions. In the vents, she finds a ladder to a hatch. Help scratched in blood. Nearby, bloody earrings matching Megan's photo. Emmett says the girl in the photo is not Megan. It is a Madeline, his high school friend who vanished years ago. More photos fall out. Howard with the girl wearing the same shirt Michelle has on now. They realize Howard killed her. Michelle and Emmett plot escape. He gets the idea to make a hazmat suit from shower curtains, plastic bottles, tap anything to survive outside. They kick Howard into throwing out contaminated curtains. Michael hides them, secretly sews the suit. Howard finds suspicious stuff in Emmett's bed. Emmett lies to cover. Howard shoots him dead anyway. I did it for you. He was dangerous. Mrs. devastated like Howard act like they are a family now. Brings her ice cream. She finds Emmett old college ticket in his wallet motivation to keep fighting. She finishes the suit, but Howard catches her hiding it. Fight erupts. She spills acid barrel on him, runs as fire spreads. She grabs the suit, but collapses selves on Howard, crawls through vents. He steps at her with a knife. He kicks free, sees the torn suit with tape, climbs out the hatch, breaks the lock with coolant. Outside, she sees Howard's truck. Birds flying, air's clean, no radiation. She rips off the mask, crease free. Explosion rocks the bunker. A ship appears. An alien spacecraft, massive dropping toxic gas. She hides in the truck, makes a Molotov from lighter plus booze, throws it, blows up the small alien ship, chasing her. Her car crashes, but she survives. Grabs the burned woman's car, drives off, hits a mailbox, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Radio says survivors head to Platoon Rock for safety or House Stone to fight the aliens. Michelle chooses House Stone. She is done running. Time to fight back. And that's how the movie ends.